And we're live. And I don't know if you know this, Trey, we are celebrating something tonight.
What are we celebrating tonight?
We are the big number 10. 10 episodes in the book.
Wow.
And cut the music.
That's 10. How about that? 10.
10 episodes,
which... If there was only an analogy we can make.
I don't know, 10... Pearl Jam 10. You know, it said we didn't think this ahead and really did like a song off of 10. I don't know. That would have made a little bit more sense. But you know what? We did make promises we did have to keep tonight.
Did we? We made some promises tonight?
Yes, we promised we'd finally... We have overlooked present tense, I think, for the last 3 shows.
Yeah, for sure we have. Yeah, Tony Bounds has reminded me of that on certainly... on a weekly basis after each show that we failed to pick that song, and so I'm glad we picked present tense. And I know you got all the details on that song, but I did, not that I haven't heard the song a million times, but I went back and listened to it a few times today, just to try to gain a little more,
a little refresher.
Yeah, I think that. A lot of times when you listen to Pearl Jam songs as a Pearl Jam fan, you're not necessarily feeling it all the time. You're just singing because you know all the words, or you're playing the air guitar. You know what I mean? And it sounds good to your ears. But it's rare for me even to sit down and just listen to it and try to get some meaning out of it. It's mostly it just fucking sounds great to my ears, and so there we go.
Yeah, it's a hot song for sure. That definitely you can't go past that. I mean, how hot the song is. So, it's a good one for sure. Scorcher.
Yeah. So thank you, Tony, for picking that out.
Yeah. Now, before we talk about that, I want to talk. Let's talk about this bottle of wine. But before I do that, I have to tell you something funny that you don't know about.
All right.
So today, I was looking to open up this bottle of wine that you sent me.
Right.
And I couldn't.
We have the same wine, by the way.
Oh, is this the first time? 100%?
No, we did the rosé together.
Oh, that was right. It was the same blend, yeah.
Right. You remember that time you drank that entire bottle of rosé and you didn't give your wife any after you drank it all? Remember that?
We don't talk about those moments. But so quick summary. So I couldn't find my fucking bottle opener, and there's a reason why there's a screw in.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Let me see that. Put that up to the camera.
Hold on, I'm gonna show you what I did today. So I looked on YouTube on what I could do to fix the situation at hand. So I went to my tool van, and I got my Milwaukee M12 drill, and I drilled a screw into the cork. After that, I then used Milwaukee pliers to ply that bitch out, and finally, I was able to have an open bottle of wine.
I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, it's genius. I'm not gonna lie. That's the most creative thing I've ever seen.
I didn't know what else the fuck to do.
I tell you what, I'm gonna give you. This is like level 9 insider secrets for wine drinkers.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
I'm just gonna throw you to the front of the line. All right. Normally, I'd baby step you up to level 9.
Okay.
I know this works. I've done it. I've seen it, and I've also done it. I was in Bordeaux, in France, and I was with a bunch of other winemakers from Walla Walla, and we had gone to a wine shop or something and bought a bottle of wine, and we were going to basically drink it on our way to dinner, right? You know, you're walking down the streets of France and Bordeaux and drinking wine. Well, after we left the shop, we realized we forgot to get a corkscrew. And my mentor in the wine business, my good friend Eric Dunham, who I talked about a bunch on this show, taught me a trick years ago. And he took off his shoe. He had a hard-soled tennis shoe.
Okay.
It took a closed bottle of wine. He pulled the foil off. Okay, so all the foil came off. The cork was exposed, just like you had it in your photo.
Yep.
And with this bottle of wine, pounded the bottom of the bottle with his hard-soled shoe, like whap, 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 and the pressure. And it wasn't like 3 hits; it was like 15. But the pressure of shooting that wine back in the cork pulled the cork out enough to where he could pop it.
Really?
So Eric showed that to me, and when the opportunity presented itself, you know, the situation was such that you had to be creative like you were tonight. I saw that opportunity and I ran with it. And I took off my shoe in the middle of Bordeaux on some street and pounded that cork out of that bottle, and then the three of us drank this bottle of wine home. It's legend stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
That is all right. Well, so I feel like I'm getting there with the. I'm not legend status. I'm like I guess I'm away from apprentice. I'm working my way up the ladder.
The fact that you went as far as you did to go find a way to open that bottle instead of just driving down to your local wine shop and buying another corkscrew
shows I'm an alcoholic.
I don't know about that, but that's pretty great. Well done, my friend.
Well, you know,
right? You're the 17.
2017. Yeah, let's you know, is episode 10, right? Yeah. 10 episodes. We got 10 fingers. After this, we got to start counting on toes. How many episodes? We are slowly but surely getting to 1 million views. We're gonna get to 1 million listens probably by our year anniversary. So I want to say this. I want to say congratulations. You're married now, married man. You look younger, happier. Look at that. Nice. But yeah, it looks good.
Honest man now.
That's right, honest man. But let's say this: 10 episodes in.
Yeah.
Let's go for 10 more, and see how this keeps going. And thanks for believing in me and this idea and this show. And I enjoy talking to you monthly. Cheers to you, Trey.
Me as well, buddy. Thank you for the congrats to the wedding, and congrats to you for people putting up with us for 10 episodes. I guess
10 episodes. Yeah.
I can't believe it. Yeah,
I know.
I mean, there are some bored people in America, Anthony. That's all I have to say about that. they're sitting around watching Facebook, watching you and I do this. So I'm grateful for it. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Well, the best thing too about Facebook, it's like Netflix and Hulu. Like you literally can have an app on your TV and just jump on it when you want. So based off of the facts, I get 80% of people are watching this on their TV.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So they're just like streaming it.
Yeah, so you can download the Facebook app on any smart TV or smart device like on your Apple TV, your Fire Stick, your Roku, on your smart television, and you go to it and you just search the Touring Fan, and then boom, us pop up. It'll actually notify you when we're going live, and boom, there you go.
How about that? Once again, you need to jump on a plane and pop out to Walla Walla, and you got to hook me up. I still have a tube TV, I think.
You still got a tube TV?
I'm just kidding. Not that bad. But you know
yeah, no, it's got to happen.
You know how my internet is right now, so.
Yeah, I know. You're like rolling with like the foil antenna trying to get it from the sky, but
whatever it takes.
That's
Holly,
right.
move to the left.
She's outside. Oh, jeez. I doubt she's doing that. I seen the picture. She's at the pool, probably feet in the water, probably enjoying that hot.
She's downstairs working out right now, but our downstairs our basement is the coolest part of the house. And let me tell you, for the folks who are listening and watching right now, it was 111 degrees today in Walla Walla, Washington.
That's hot.
In Salem, Oregon. This is on the west side of Oregon. It was 117 degrees. That is, when I say it's unheard of, like it beat the high temperature in Oregon by like 9 degrees.
Jesus.
All-time high temperature. Same thing happened in Seattle. It's just been brutal. It's brutal. So.
Well, Holly's watching too, by the way. I just want to give you a heads up.
See, she's intelligent on that. She knows how to download the app or whatever she has.
Well, Trey, listen, I will tell you this. I was excited about this because a couple of people, when we posted this, friends of yours and mine, reached out to me, and they actually drank this wine, spoke extremely highly of it. So I am excited to hear about the history of this and what is so special about this.
All right. So what we're drinking tonight this is one of 2 episodes in a row we're drinking my wine. I promised I wasn't going to do that, and I apologize to everyone. But I sent Anthony a case of wine. We got to drink through it at some point. This is our Reserve Bordeaux blend, and it's called the Archimage. And Archimage is it's an old Persian. It's a Persian word that's loosely translated to like the master magi, like the top magician, right? And because the sleight of hand labels have this sort of magical theme, we figured that was a great name. It sounds cool. But what's in the bottle is a blend, and we've talked about blends before over the past 10 episodes. But this is a blend of Cabernet Franc and Merlot. So you have 2 grapes. Both of them you grow very well in Virginia, where you are. They grow a lot of Cab Franc and they grow a lot of Merlot. But this blend is most famous in Saint-Emilion in Bordeaux, France, on the right bank of the river. So they have right bank and left bank. And right bank is more Merlot dominant wines, and left bank is more Cabernet Sauvignon dominant wines. The exception is this little town called Saint-Emilion, and it sits on top of a hill above most of the vineyards sit above the town of Saint-Emilion. This is a really old ancient Roman town. It's absolutely incredible and very, very picturesque, very beautiful. Some of the most famous wines in the world come from this little bitty town, and they're Cab Franc and Merlot dominant. Cab Franc dominant with Merlot as a secondary grape, as opposed to Merlot being the dominant grape. And Cheval Blanc is a very famous winery. Bottle of Cheval Blanc today goes for $1,000. A bottle of wine.
Whoa.
$1,000. And you've got a winery called Pavie. Pavie's $400 to $600 a bottle. You've got a winery called Ausson. Those are $1,000 to $1,200 a bottle. So these are super famous wineries that have hundreds of years of tradition of wine growing, and they've been growing these grapes there since the 600, 700 AD, right? I mean, a long time.
Sure.
And I'm making that date up, but a long time.
Hey,
all right. I know it's like at least 12 generations. So
it's a long time.
But I had this aha moment when I first got into winemaking. I was in my third year of winemaking. It was the spring of 2003, and I was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with a good friend of mine named Ronnie Sanders. And Ronnie owns an import and export company based in Philly. He also distributes wines in Pennsylvania. And at the time, he distributed my wine and a bunch of other Walla Walla wineries. So I was in Philly hanging out with Ronnie. We were selling wine in PA. And we were going out to dinner one night. And he said, go to my wine cellar, pick out anything you want. I'm like, awesome. And I knew he's got a great wine cellar. His dad had passed away about 5 years earlier and left him a couple of thousand bottles of really great Bordeaux and Italian wines and Burgundy and all this great stuff. And Ronnie, he was already in the wine business. He already had a great cellar. So I walked into his cellar. I'm looking at all these great wines, and I found a box, literally a wooden box, which a lot of expensive wines will come packaged like this because it looks cool. And it was a box of 1990, and this is in 2003, mind you. So 13-year-old, 1990 Cheval Blanc. And I had been in the wine business for 2.5 years at this point. And I'd had most of the famous wines that you can think of, Haut-Brion and, Lafite and Chateau Latour and all these names you hear of, really expensive wines from Bordeaux. But I had never had a bottle of Cheval Blanc. And so I found Ronnie has a crowbar right there in his wine cellar for all the wood boxes. And I pop this wood top off and I come back out into the dining room area because we're going out to dinner, right?
Sure.
And I was like, I said, I found a bottle. He said, what'd you get? I said, it's 90 Cheval Blanc. He's like, did you open my fucking case of 1990 Cheval Blanc? I'm like, dude, you said open. He said, bring anything you want. So I did. So he acquiesced, and we took this wine to dinner at an Italian restaurant on the New Jersey side of the river right there, right next to PA. It's a family friend of his owned this thing. It was in a strip mall. You wouldn't think of this as a fancy Italian place. This is a mom and pop, grandsons bussing tables, grandma's making meatballs, and it's family-owned joint, right? We walk in, we're the only people there. They all come out, give Ronnie a big hug and kiss. We brought our own stemware because they don't have wine in this. It's like a BYO place. And so we brought nice glasses like you have, Anthony. And we brought this bottle of 1990 Cheval Blanc, and we popped the cork, and we decanted it. In 30 seconds, this entire restaurant smelled like that bottle of wine.
Really?
I stuck my nose in that. I was like, I'd never smelled anything like it before. So after that experience, and this wine was still today the greatest bottle of wine I've ever had today. I went back to Walla Walla, and I was working for another winery at the time. I was hired to be their winemaker, and I went to the owner of the winery, and I said, we're going to be making a new wine. It's going to be a Cab Franc Merlot blend, because Washington makes Cab Franc as well as anyone in the world, and we're known for Merlot. Merlot is like our, that's how Washington became famous for wine going in for grapes. And so I started making a Cab Franc Merlot blend from our estate vineyards at the time that I was working at Basil Cellars. And I still have some of those bottles today, and they're fantastic. But when I left that winery and started our own label with Jerry and Sandy, I knew that we were going to make this wine again. It was going to be different vineyards, but it was going to be a blend of Cab Franc and Merlot. And so that's really what the Archimage is from our estate block that we either own or manage. These are the best barrels of Cabernet Franc and Merlot that we have in the cellar every vintage, and it gets blended together. This year, 2017, was 52% Cab Franc and 48% Merlot.
Wow.
if you can read that. The font is very small. I apologize.
Yeah, no. I can read that. I have a question for you though, and I don't know if I've noticed this on other bottles, but it says bottle number 1749 on the bottom right on the front of the label. What does that
Yeah,
mean?
that means that it's that's the number of that's the bottle number that it came off of in order.
So
So like
that was
like I have
handwritten on there.
I have bottle 2535.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
I mean, this is a handmade wine, right? I mean, this is an artisanal product
this is
as opposed to a grocery store
I
brand,
will tell
right?
you this is my favorite bottle of red wine I've ever drank. And I love red wine. Red wine, I've drank red wine before. There is something like there's no tart, like there's not like a tart like taste on the side of my cheeks at all.
The tan on the side. Yep.
Yep, no, it's very smooth. This is my favorite bottle of red wine I've ever had.
See, that's what I said when I had that bottle of 1990 Cheval Blanc.
See, look at this. But you know what I
Look at
really
that.
enjoy about your stuff too, Trey, is that like I love I like the way the label feels. I know it sounds weird, but it feels like you put so much thought into not just the wine itself, but the appearance, the way it feels, the way it looks, like the font, everything about this. Like it works really well together. I do love it. This is definitely.
Thank you,
Now you're
buddy.
going to tell me that this is the last bottle of red wine that you ever had. I'm never going to be able to get any more.
That's literally we're sold out of that vintage. But that wine, look, Anthony, every year
Yep.
we make this wine. It's not like you're gonna taste this wine and go, I love it, and then take the next vintage and go, what is that? That's terrible. It's gonna be the next vintage is gonna be just as great as this vintage. The
Okay.
difference is it's just gonna show a little bit of vintage variation because the vineyards are the same and the grape varietals are essentially the same every year. The percentages may go up or down in each one, but there is a consistency in our winemaking style. And we would never bottle a wine under this label, under the reserve label, like we do with this wine. We wouldn't bottle it if we didn't think that it was good enough to be bottled under that label.
Sure. No, I think
And
it's
if
great.
it
Well,
wasn't,
that's good to know. It just, I'm just the type of person like I'm like, all right, good. I'll buy 4 more of these tomorrow. That's not going to happen.
no, you can't buy the 17, but we have the 18. We just
Oh, okay.
released it.
Okay. All right. Well, we're fine with that. Okay, good. At least I know that I'm able to buy something. But yeah, listen. If you've ever had and once again, I'm still very much a novice when it comes to wine. I still ask Trey for his opinion on everything. When it comes to wine, but this is hands down the best red wine I've ever drinking, and I've drinking a lot of cheap bottles of red wine in my life. So this is definitely the
This
best.
is the best. You say this is the best cheap red wine you've had.
No, I don't. No. I don't know, but no. This is great. I love this one. This might be the favorite one I've drinking that's come out of your that you've sent me.
Well, that's awesome. I love this wine too. This is my favorite wine that we make at the winery.
Oh, there you
And
go.
so, yeah, so if people, I get asked that question all the time. Oh, what's your favorite wine? And I tell them, well, it's not important what's my favorite wine. What's important is what tastes good to you.
That's
Your
right.
favorite wine might be the Riesling, But that being said, when they do ask, I do tell them, I said the Archimage is my favorite because I just love the interplay between the two grape varietals. Cap Franc is herbal and spicy and earthy and sort of more red fruited, and Merlot from Washington is more dark fruited, big and tannic, kind of a brawny wine. And so the two grapes together, when blended together, make this really cool blend. And the longer they're melded together, the more complex that they get. They don't feel disjointed. Like if you were to come to my winery and I would have to put a blend together for you out of barrel, I took Merlot all by itself and Cab Franc all by itself, and I took 50-50 and I put it in a glass and I gave it to you. That wine that's not what it tastes like or smells like. It's very disjointed when you initially put it together. Wine takes a lot of time and some wines take years, 10, 15 years to really come together and like express themselves. I think ours, after 2 to 3 years, are pretty much where they're going to be, and then they just sort of get more complex by age.
Okay.
But it's a neat process, and there's two grapes marry well together, and it's obvious because if you look at what they've done in Bordeaux and the success they've had over there, it makes sense that those two grapes work together. It just takes the right place, and Washington is a great place for that.
Well, that is awesome. I do. Yeah, this is great. I will have to come out there. I'm going to hold you to the idea of marrying a bottle of wine for me. We'll call it the Touring Fan Wine, and we'll figure something out. I don't know. I'm just
you know what? Hey, we should. We'll talk about that when we're done.
Sure.
We could totally make a barrel of wine, and we'll have you come out.
Okay.
We'll do some blending and stuff, and we'll have you. Maybe we'll get a poster artist to create a label for us.
Okay.
And a barrel of wine is 300 bottles.
Okay.
So maybe we do 2 barrels of wine. We do 600 bottles, and we sell it, and then whatever we make, we go donate to, what's your charity you're doing right now that's your big event coming up?
So, well, I'm actually working on 2, one for my son and one for me, one for the Touring Fan. Touring Fan's working on the Project Matters.
That's the one.
Yeah, let me, while we're talking about that, I'm going to pull a photo up as well. Let me see if I can pull it up. But yeah, no, we're working on a project with the Project Matters. It's an organization that utilizes their funds that they receive to go to children who can't afford music lessons, instruments, and all that. And we're doing some big things. The big thing, I don't know if you've paid attention this week, but we made a huge announcement this week. We are working with some of today's top poster artists. We've sent all these artists a ukulele. And
I did hear about this. This is incredible.
And they're going to custom paint it and design it from scratch. So we announced this week that Jim Mazza, Brad Clausen, Ward Sutton, Arno Kiss, Kate Neckel, and Eric Lilavois, Bally Race, John Gloom, Brian Meth, Jules Muck, Steve Thomas, Damian Fulton, and Tyler Stout, with about 6 more we still have to announce, and maybe more, because it seems like just a bunch of people really want to work on this. We've sent them ukuleles. We had some donated. We've purchased some. They are getting shipped to them, and it's a one-of-one ukulele. And I'm going to tell you something. There's some artists on there, like Tyler Stout for me. Tyler Stout's like my number one artist. Like, I adore Tyler Stout.
We talked about that last time, or not last time, but when you and I were off the air and just shooting the shit, you brought him up, and I went to look at his page and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, dude, he's been he's been a poster artist. Like, he really was in the beginning stages of pop culture poster prints in the early 2000s, and he just crafted shit. And dude, when he said like he was gonna do it, like, I'm not gonna, I was like, I bawled. But he was like, he gave me this great message about like and he whatever, it was a personal thing between me and him, but like, it was great. And all these other artists that are doing it, I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do. We should have some more like ideas of what things will look like in August when we auction those off. But yeah, we're pretty excited about that. I mean, it's a really big thing, and all the money raised from that is going right to the Project Matters. And we're gonna have more information about the organization. We're gonna have the head of the Project Matters come on to the show in a couple of weeks. She put this together because her son died, unfortunately, and he was really big into music, and she wanted to use like him and his memory to give back to the community. And during COVID, she's had to take from her own to make sure that these kids weren't, she couldn't turn away kids. So she's an amazing woman. Her story is great. So we're doing that. So now I'm really excited about this. So yeah, that's what we're doing now. And then also, in the same sense, because we only got 2 more years left in Virginia, my son wants to do his foundation, Keeper for a Cure, on a huge level. So now we're getting a huge event together to raise money for the Breast Cancer Foundation in Charlottesville again. Brady's raising money for. So yeah, we got a lot of things going on.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think we can raise some money for if it's that project, or we have a different one you want to do.
We'll figure something out.
We can do it.
We'll chit chat about it. We'll figure something out. But hey, let's listen. I was gonna start with present tense, but I think that we start with arc.
Okay.
Let's just go into. So let's listen to. This is the first time Arc was ever played, and Arc was first played June 5th, 2003, in San Diego. I'll give more information in a minute, but this is from that show. So sit back and enjoy the one of very few times that Arc was played under the terms Pearl Jam.
I don't think it'll work unless it's quiet. I hate to do that. It's been great. It might get better if we... Actually, I'm hearing it through headphones. It really, I'm just gonna, it ain't gonna work if you're listening. Just, let's try quiet, yeah? And we can do it. I hate to do this. Let's try it.
you know, if that doesn't give you chills, and I never got to hear, you know, them play that in the 2003 tour. I got to hear Eddie do it during his solo tour a couple of times. There is a chill factor brought in by the way that he utilizes the instrument he's using to dub his voice 9 times to bring the effect of that chant out, which I've heard it quite a few times in a solo tour, and it really does. And even in that video, the crowd's loud and rowdy in the beginning. They're all excited, and then as soon as he starts doing his chant, the crowd subdues. And then you get the couple drunk assholes, which is fine. It's going to happen at every show, but there is a quiet sense over there you don't see many times at a show because that is such a special thing that realistically 99% of musicians couldn't accomplish.
Yeah, that's heavy song. It's heavy. I mean,
it is.
The meaning behind that song is so heavy, and so, you know, you have to show respect when you're, you know, you say there's the drunk assholes out there. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
This is like a heavy moment, you know. It's like you didn't appreciate what this is about. I've never seen Pearl Jam play it live, but I have seen Eddie do it as well on the solo tours, and it's pretty great. I don't know much about the background of that song, but it's a combination of, like, you know, I know Eddie spends a lot of time in Hawaii, and it's this combination of like this Hawaiian / Native American feel to that song, and like what he's honoring, and, you know, the way he pays respects to you know, the folks who were killed in Roskilde. So it's heavy like that, but that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of this sort of Native American / Hawaiian, you know, Ohana thing, you know.
Sure.
So it's beautiful though.
Yeah, it is beautiful. You know, so when I put this show together, I put the show together about a couple of days ago, and today, a good friend of the show called me and threw me a bunch of information I didn't know about the song that I'll have after we talk about facts that I think is really interesting that I didn't know. And it's really not common. I mean, you could find some of the stuff online, but because this song isn't so rarely played, it's not really a song per se, it's a chant. The information's limited. So let's go through these facts real quick. It was only played 9 times live. And the only reason it was ever played 9 times live is because it reflects of the 9 lives lost at the music festival. You know, that's interesting. You know, it's interesting in its own sense that, you know, it was played. I'm looking at it here. June 5th was the first time in San Diego at this show. And you can see in the beginning of that, Eddie struggled to even perform it. If you really look at the way he pulls the mic up and he's like, I don't, you know, it just, there was definitely a struggle. They played it June 9th, June 10th, June 13th, 15th, 18th, June 29th, July 11th, July 18th. San Diego, Dallas, Little Rock, Council Bluffs, Iowa, Fargo, North Dakota, Chicago, Illinois, Montreal, Quebec, Mansfield, Massachusetts, and Mexico City, Mexico. Now, there is kind of a quick...
All in 03.
03, only tour it's ever been played on, which is one of the facts I'll bring up too.
Wow.
The one crazy 2000, the audience started chanting the chant. So it's recognized on some websites as it being semi-performed because the band acknowledged it, but they didn't perform it. So the audience, though, did do it. There's not a video online that really showcases it really properly, but I don't think we're ever going to see Pearl Jam perform or Eddie come out during Pearl Jam and perform this, because I think out of respect of the 9 lives lost, that this was special in 2003 to give that chant to each night to those people that were lost during that time. One of the other facts is it was an opener 3 times, which in realism, I think this is primarily set to be an opener. You know, it was the first 2 times it was played a little bit differently in the set list. The first time it was played live, which is really interesting. It was played, Arc was played in between Alive, and then it was Arc, and then it was Bob O'Reilly closed the show. which is really unique. That I don't think that this was meant to be played that night. I think it was added in. If that makes sense. It's just weird.
But you mentioned that
I don't hear you.
9 times. It's only been. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me? What the hell's going on here?
I can hear you just fine.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you fine.
You hear me? I can't hear you. What the hell's going on here? Can you? There you go. Trey, I hear you coming through. Why is
How about that? Can you hear me now?
Of course, we're gonna have issues. Hold on.
Hello, hello, hello.
Can you hear now?
I got you.
I can't hear you. What the hell's going on here?
I don't know. My mic is plugged in.
No, your audio is coming through. It's just not coming through my headset.
That's weird.
Oh, Jesus.
So we're talking to each other.
Hold on.
Anthony,
you know what we're going to do? I'm going to listen, because I know you're talking and everything's going good. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to show the quick facts of ARC real quick as we're going through. We're going to play present tense, and then we're going to see if I can diagnose the issue during present tense's video. So it was only played during the 2003 tour. Let's see. Oh, everyone's saying they can hear you both. Okay, it's just me. Only played through the 2003 tour. And it's not on. If you're saying anything, I can't hear you.
I know.
I can read your lips, though. Art, and then it's not on any bootlegs, and that was because the band wanted to utilize that these were special to the event. So that was why it was never posted on that. And then, last but not present tense. The other, so here's a couple quick things before we go to present tense. It was dubbed. When he recorded, it was dubbed over 9 times. So his voice was dubbed over 9 times in retrospect to the 9 Lives Lost. Every time he performed live, it was dubbed over 9 times in retrospect to the Lives Lost. There is video of him from the solo tour on that DVD Eddie made of a solo thing where you can hear it, and that's the best version live that you'll be able to hear live. Other than that, that's ARC in a nutshell. If you want to say anything, go ahead and say it, then give me a thumbs up when you're done, and then I'm going to go to present tense. No, you have nothing to say?
I have a lot to say, but you're not going to hear me, so.
Well, you can say whatever you want to. I'll never know what you say, but you can give me a thumbs up when you're done.
The best part about this, right now, everyone else is listening, and as you're watching me, Anthony has no idea what we're saying, and what a handsome man that guy is. Look at that beautiful bald head right there. Oh my goodness. Anthony loves to sunbathe nude, and I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but he loves slip and slides. Apparently, that's one of his big hobbies.
No, I do not like. I do not like slip and slides. I want to let you know my headphones just came in. You asshole.
God damn it! I was hoping we could just finish the show like that.
No, you son of a bitch! I thought you were being so nice.
You missed the first part about the nude sunbathing, so that's fine.
No, I did not hear that. Matt says I'm pretty sure I heard it in Montreal and Mansfield.
The chant? Does he mean the chant, or does he mean the band? The band sang it. That would be on a. That would be.
Yeah. So Mansfield, Massachusetts, you definitely heard it. It was played in July 11th. Montreal, yeah, you definitely heard it in 2003. So once again, it was played in San Diego, California, Dallas, Texas, Little Rock, Arkansas, Council Bluffs, Iowa, Fargo, North Dakota, Chicago, Illinois, Montreal, Quebec, Mansfield, Massachusetts, Mexico City, Mexico. That is it. That's all the places it was played.
Anthony, what I was going to say when you stopped hearing me was that I find it like that the importance of that song, and I guess it's the importance to Ed, and maybe it's the whole band, but they put a lot of forethought into the fact they only played that 9 times, period.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like the beginning of the tour after they recorded Riot Act, and they were touring behind Riot Act. That conversation had to come up at some point.
Sure.
And so I kudos to another another reason we love a great band like this, because they really do care about the art they create.
There is an art to Pearl Jam and the band and Eddie and everyone, even Mike and everyone in the band, that they put so much thought into everything, and sometimes they're so underappreciated for that fact of the thought they put into stuff. It could be kind of, depressing in its own sense, but no, this was really well thought out. I really enjoyed this, and it gives me chills every time I hear it. So definitely on that. All right, so now let's go to present tense.
Yeah.
Which, like you, I hadn't listened to it in a while. Now, I will tell you this: I am hooked on like a couple of bands right now that I just got back into. So I haven't really listened to Pearl Jam in a while, but I put on present tense, an Arc a couple of days ago just to kind of get that feeling back. And man, I forgot how effing good this song is.
So good.
You ready for this, brother?
I'm still ready. What version are we looking at?
So this is from Washington D.C. in 1998. So the official show, I'm pulling that up now.
I had that. You remember that poster?
I do not.
One of the all-time great posters, the Washington D.C. '98 Ames Bros poster.
September 19th, DAR Constitutional Hall in Washington D.C. What poster is that one?
It's that green and white and it's like that lady with the long hair. It's a long, narrow poster.
Oh, yes.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. You ready for this, brother?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Thanks for letting me speak. I appreciate it. Have you seen the way that tree bends? Does it inspire? Leaning out to catch the sun's rays, a lesson to be applied. I'll get something out of this. Oh, then got the same trail. You can spend your time alone, redigesting past regrets. Or you can come to terms and realize you're the only one who can forgive yourself. Makes much more sense to live in the present tense. Have you ideas on how this life ends? Checked your hands and studied the lines. Have you the belief that the road ahead ascends off into some light? It's dreams for some I see, it's become harder to find an approach and a way to live. Oh, are we getting something out of this? Oh, baby, fucking trip. You can spend your time alone,
First of all,
Woo!
how fucking ripped was Matt Cameron in that video?
Matt Cameron is great. That's a great Jeff Ament song.
100%.
That bass line, it's so good. That band is so good. But honestly, that song to me, it's all about the lyrics. Like, that is a song, that's a heavy, that fucking song makes you think.
It does. And it's kind of like your buddy said, it is so perfect for the times you live in right now.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing with your life? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
Well, that's a whole different show. If we start talking about what I'm doing with my life, that's a whole other show. That's like, couch time with Trey or some shit. I don't know. It's such a beautiful song, but God, first of all, it was weird. The last two videos were younger versions of the band. Eddie with short hair, Eddie with longer hair, and they're very young. Like, because Present Tense is played extremely different nowadays than it was in 1998. The way it sounds, the way the drums come in. I think Matt's much more comfortable with the way the drums are played. Just so much difference, right? But it's such an amazing.
Mike's guitar. When I listen to Mike's guitar, there's a crunchy, very crunchy aspect to, especially the way that song opens, where it's basically just him playing guitar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this really crunchy sound, and it reminds me of like 67 to 72, 73 Stones. It's like there's a Keith Richardsy aspect to that song in the guitar sound, but when you wrap the other musicians into that song, like that bass is not that's not a Rolling Stones bass, and that those drums aren't Charlie Watts. You know what I mean?
No.
But there are aspects of Mike's guitar playing that stick out, and they remind me of stuff like that. But it's an awesome song, and I saw some comments popping up about the '98 tour and how great that song was on that tour, and how do you argue with that? It really was great.
You really can't. I mean, they definitely 98 was a very beautiful tour and how they did things. Yeah, there was so many great.
They did New Zealand and Australia that year. So you're like, you see this thing. If you could go back in time, what would you do? And people, I'd go back and I'd invest in this, or I'd go meet this guy. I just go back and do the entire '98 Pearl Jam tour because that's 11 months, right? I mean, I'd be the roadie for them or something, right? But that was I think it was an 11-month tour, and that's one of the great 11-month spans of music live ever. It was a great tour.
It's interesting though, because as beautiful as the song is, it's really not played as often as I thought it was.
Let's see some stats.
Let's get down to the stats. All right, here we go. Stat number 1, only played 136 times. Now, they've played 1,038 shows up until now. They'll play 1,040 once they get to Ohana.
That's like one out of 9. 1 out of 9 shows you're going to see Present Tense.
Yeah, 10% or something, like 11%, something crazy like that. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that, because a lot of you would think this is a song they play more often. I think you're gonna get it both. How many ever shows they play this year, I would be very open to think that this song's gonna be played at all the shows they play this year, just because it is so perfectly fitting for what we're going through right now. Right? I really believe that.
Yeah.
So with that being said, and then it opened only 4 times and closed 0 times, which this would be a really weird song to close with. Now, let me throw this question out to you, Trey. Do you think this opens any shows this year?
So I think that first of all, when we say shows this year, we currently know that there are 2 shows this year.
Do we? Yeah, that's right. Ohana and
they see here now in Ohana.
That's right.
That's 2 shows. So my answer to that is no. It is not. Now, for some reason, last week, after you drank that entire bottle of rosé,
that was last month.
You started to posit that and you said, "Don't quote me. This is mere speculation." Blah blah blah. But you predicted a bunch more shows in between.
I believe by the end of the year,
Pearl. Still believe it. We're a month later. Do you still believe that?
I believe there will be 10.
We're at the end of June.
Yeah, I believe there's going to be 10 opportunities to see Pearl Jam, and 2 of those opportunities are going to be extremely difficult to get tickets for.
All right. Well, which ones are those? I mean, we're hypothesizing here.
I'm not hypothesizing anything. But I would say that I would feel as though 2 of those shows are going to be really difficult to get. We'll see. They're going to celebrate Pearl Jam 30 somehow or another, and I believe that is going to be a celebration. It's going to be really difficult to get tickets.
Where do you think that's going to be?
If I was a betting man, I would bet that would be in Seattle.
I mean, that makes sense. 30 years.
Correct. 30 years. I would also speculate that there's a venue.
What's the date? October 20th is the first show. October.
I would assume, this is just more speculation, I know nothing official, that they are not going to do Ohana and See Here Now Festival without doing some kind of warm up, right? Like they're going to have to warm up to the idea of doing some stuff.
We said that last month, yeah.
Correct. Also, if I was a betting man, I would say that there is a music venue right now that's in dire need of making revenue and needs help with some stuff in Seattle that is very close to the musicians' hearts that I could definitely see them playing at, but I would also see that being extremely difficult to get tickets for. And I could see it happening. And I bet you it would be live streamed, possibly.
That venue is less than 1,000 people, so
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that'd be awesome.
It would be. We'll see what happens. Anyway, moving on. The next thing I have to say is the open. It was the 3 times it was used as an opener. And I can't even see with the damn fucking glasses.
St. Louis, Thunder Bay, Ontario, Atlantic City, New Jersey, and London, Ontario.
Correct. Which is interesting. I mean, this is a clever song, I guess, to open up for. I think if you didn't have an opening band, it's a good song to open up with. Slows down the mood, gets you involved. Or no, I'm sorry. If you had an opening band that was like a heavier band, this is a good way to slow everything down, reset the canvas, and go from there.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting.
Ontario, 4 times opener, Ontario twice. Is that a Neil Young reference?
Maybe. Good point. Good observation.
I don't know. I think Neil Young is from Ontario originally, right?
I have no idea. I'm going to be 100% honest with you, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I think I've said it on the show before, and I'm going to shoot the person.
If you say I don't like Neil Young, we're going to I'm going to walk out that door. Just keep it to yourself.
I wasn't going to say I don't like Neil Young. I'm just not a very large Neil Young fan. So.
God damn it.
Well, everyone has their thing, right? There's probably some bands I like that you don't like. It's just a part of life. Now, there is some Neil Young stuff that I do enjoy, but there's some stuff I have a hard time getting into.
Well, you say that about a lot of bands.
Exactly. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying
his catalog of music is wide and deep.
Sure.
Right? So there's going to be stuff that he puts out that you don't like. Yeah. I don't like everything Bruce Springsteen has done.
See, now that's blasphemy.
I'm not going to say I kind of like, man, I really like Bruce Springsteen, but I don't like everything he's done.
Yeah.
There's probably 5 Pearl Jam songs I could just never listen to again, but that doesn't mean I don't like Pearl Jam. So.
Yeah, no. There's definitely more than 5 Neil Young songs I do not like. Oh my God, how can I stop this shit? How can you mute this? I'm getting blown up in a message group here. No, ignore messages. Here we go. Ignore them. There we go.
Is it Brad? Come on.
No, not Brad. Not Brad at all. No, it's people. It's
Where
a
is
rest.
Brad? He hasn't chimed in once.
Brad is working right now. So maybe we could give him a call and get his opinion about some stuff. Next on the list, song played the most before present tense was Even Flow, with 16 times. Even Flow was the song that was played the most before present tense. And I listened to Even Flow and then listened to present tense, and it was weird for me. I was like, I don't know.
That's a weird transition.
100%, it is. So it almost is like going up to a high, then dropping it to a low, because present tense is very much a low. You know,
that's sort of like, you know, when everyone runs to the restroom during Even Flow, they can come back to.
You know, here's my, when people tell me that, I tell them this. You can see a picture of the Mona Lisa a million times, right? But if you don't appreciate it for what it is, then you're missing the point. Yeah. I have seen Even Flow the most out of any song live, just because of the fact that it's a very heavily played song. Every time I've seen it, Mike McCready does something different. There's a different guitar solo. There's something special about it. I enjoy Even Flow. And in the same sense, too, like, I also like some...
enjoy it too.
Yeah, well, the other thing, too, I've enjoyed, like, I don't know if you do this, but there's some songs that I've heard so many times, like, I'll turn around and look in the crowd and see how people are, like, taking it in. And the last time I saw Even Flow, which was up in Boston at Fenway Park, there was a kid maybe 9 years old, like, and he was directly across from me. And I remember looking at him and his mom, I'll never forget his mom. Mom had, like, Billie Eilish bright neon green hair. And he got so excited about hearing the song. He knew every word. And him and his mom put their arms around each other. And it was this moment of just, like, enjoyment and loving the moment. And I was like, you know what? I've heard this song enough. Like, that moment I watched, and it was just like that I was, like, digging into, because that's special, you know? And that's what's cool about it. Like, songs like that, you know, it's you can hear it a million times. There's just more to it than that. So people that say they go to the bathroom, well, they can go fly a kite for all I care.
Go fly a kite.
Go fly a kite.
Yeah, that's why they invented colonoscopy bags.
That is right. Now, interesting enough, the song played the most after, which I believe is a good fitter, is Daughter. Present tense into Daughter flows smooth like the wine we're drinking this evening. You like that?
I sent you a photo of Boston 18 of this guy with his daughter on his back, and I don't know, we were like 15th, 20th row, somewhere right there in the middle, you know, and it was just the best moment watching this father-daughter moment, you know, his 8 or 9 year old daughter.
You know, I have you brought your children to see Pearl Jam yet?
Have I done what?
Have your children seen Pearl Jam yet?
I took Kaylee, my oldest daughter, to the Eddie Vedder show at Benaroya. But neither have seen Pearl Jam yet.
Here, I'm going to put that photo up you sent me up right now. That's awesome. Like, that photo.
Did I get a picture?
That's a great picture. Have you ever talked to that guy afterwards?
I took the photo. I got the guy's phone number and texted it to him immediately. Yeah.
Like, that's what it's all about right there, dude.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to have that picture forever of his kid. You know what I mean?
There was, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's those moments with your children, they're fleeting, and he certainly wasn't expecting a photograph.
No.
And so, yeah.
You're 100% correct. Like, so the first time I took Brady to go see Pearl Jam, and I think he's seen him 9 times. I took Brady to go to Made in America Festival. This was 20, I have the poster up somewhere in here. Whatever, it was 2013. So he was like 3 years old. But he knew Spin the Black Circle word for word at that age. And they played it, and there's a photo that was posted on the forums, like of Brady on my shoulder and him floating his fist in the air, and some kid's like, I don't know who this guy is, but I saw this moment, and I have that photo, and I printed out in my movie room, and like it's like that's what the moment's about. Like, that's what's special about it. So now that you grab that, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Cool stuff.
I've taken a few photos like that. Did you happen to watch the Missoula show last weekend?
Of course I did.
Yeah, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great show. My buddy Andre and I watched that. We were at that show live, and that moment when Eddie throws the tambourine into the crowd to the kid, I've got a killer photo of that moment because we were sitting right behind that kid.
Mm.
So I don't know if I've got a yeah. I'll send it to you later.
Okay,
But,
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm on my computer. It doesn't have the location for it, but
That's cool.
that was a cool moment of that show as well. And it just goes to show you, if you want a tambourine, go bring a kid.
Bring a kid. That's right. So the coolest story I have about bringing my kid to a show was 2013. I took him to go see Pearl Jam in Baltimore. And we had met Keely before the show. Like, we were walking, and she was around the Inner Harbor, and she looked lost. And I had Brady, and Brady had a Pearl Jam hoodie we had made for him. And I said, hey, are you lost? Because we go to Baltimore often, we knew it. And she goes, yeah, I'm just trying to find, my son likes, the Ravens. I want to give him a Raven shirt. So, well, actually, if you go down this road, make a right, there's actually a sports place. You can go in there. She goes, okay, cool. I appreciate that. She walks away, and we had eaten at the California Pizza Kitchen. My son likes that place. And as we're leaving the place, she's walking past me. She's like, hey, thanks. I would have never found that place, And I said, oh, no problem. And we're talking, and she was talking to my son. And she's like, oh, are you going to the show? And I said, yeah, we're going to the show. She goes, where are you sitting? I'm sitting, we got side stage, second row side stage. I said, just for him to enjoy and whatever. She goes, oh, that's cool. She goes, hey, well, she goes, make sure you wave at the stage when everything's said and done with. I do have this right here. Actually, I have visual to incorporate the story. So if you listen to the Baltimore bootleg, during the last song, Brady's out of his mind dancing. And Eddie goes, look at this kid dancing. He's referring to my kid. And Keely turns the house lights on. And Eddie looks over that way, and she's going like this and starts pointing towards my son. Eddie then, after the show, hands him hold on, let me pull this real quick.
Handed him a tambourine?
Sorry. So then Eddie hands Brady, so there's a picture of me and my son, and then Eddie hands him the set list from, Eddie's set list was handed from Eddie to Brady. And it's funny because if you look really closely, on rearview mirror, Eddie wrote no balls because he didn't want the balls to drop down and stuff like that. So he wrote it. And I guess this is the one they hide, because everything is this is the actual written one that they photocopy from. So all the everything on here is the handwritten, from. But it's interesting because they took so many good songs. They took Breaker Fall Off, Swallowed Whole, Down, Glorified G, Jeremy. It was interesting. But no, so we have this one. So this is I love looking at that sometimes, when I'm setting up for shows, because it's a good memory of me and my son. But yeah, no, it's so in front of us was Duff McKagan and someone else. He was in a band at that time that was touring, but there was a couple of them over in front of us. They left halfway through the show. And then there was a Dixie, I think it was a Dixie chick or something like that was there. There was a shit ton of people around me. And then there's Brady just going off his fucking rocker. It was a really cool moment. I wish my son liked Pearl Jam like he used to, because now he's too cool for school with his soccer shit. But it was that.
What did you listen to?
He listens to he tried explaining to me the other day he thought Eminem was the greatest artist of all time, and I'm like, you are just a schmuck. You are just a schmuck. My daughter,
failed as a parent. Congratulations on your soccer, but
yeah. Now my daughter, on the other hand, she is so into right now Bowie, Prince. We were listening to Pink Floyd when we were setting up the show, and she went upstairs and she was like, "Oh, what's this?" And she's into it. She wants to learn how to play piano, so she's really into that. So it'd be cool if I have one kid who's really into soccer, because Brady's going to go to the moon when it comes to soccer, and if I get someone who she just wants to sing to me, I'm down for that. So
that's awesome.
No, it's all good. But no, that was a cool moment. Definitely, for sure. So, and I think
I love watching. Eddie takes care of the kids, so there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, he does, and
that's a moment, right? I mean, music saved his life.
Sure.
Maybe there's a moment where someone's going to look back on that time that, Eddie threw a tambourine to him, and that's the difference. So,
well, the thing is, like, so my son was really into music back in the day. I mean, he's had moments. Like, we went to our My Morning Jacket. We were front row, and they handed him like a set list, a drum stick, a microphone. I mean, they kept handing him shit, and I got video of him. And then, Band of Horses. He was supposed to go to a show in Raleigh, but then it turned 21 and over. I got to meet Ben after the show, and then I got to meet the piano player, which his name's escaping me right now, and I feel bad. But afterwards, we were talking. He's like, "Well, are you going to the Virginia show tomorrow in Richmond?" I said, "No." There's this great video on YouTube about this too, and they basically said, "Listen, we're gonna get ticket for your son. It just come to the box office, and we'll take care of him." And they basically gave him a private area on the rail with a security guard because it was a 21 over show. But they wanted to so Brady was over the rail with a security guard. After the show was over, they brought him on stage. He ended up playing a bunch of the instruments. Me and Tyler were talking about this because I sent him a picture. Tyler Ramsey. I sent him a picture of like Tyler and Brady on stage and like him giving him a guitar pick and playing a guitar. It was ridiculous. Like Brady's had some memories that like he's had some luck. I mean,
I hope he remembers this and I hope he appreciates it.
Did I ever tell you? Here, I'll tell you one more story real quick. Did I ever tell you the Jack White story?
Jack West?
Jack White.
Oh, Jack White. No.
Okay. So this is the most embarrassing story. So in Charlottesville, Virginia, there's an outdoor pavilion called the Intellis Pavilion. I don't know what it's called now, but that's what it was at the time. Me and my son, we got a parking spot like in the back area, which was great. It's in like a downtown mall area. So Jack White was playing. I took my son to go see Jack White. As we're leaving, the guy's like, "You can't come backstage." We're like, "We're not going backstage. Our car is parked right there." I had the button. I hit it. The thing went off. He goes, "Oh, okay, go back there." So I go back to my car, and as we're going past, we literally are intersected by Jack White. And my son's on my shoulder, and he's falling asleep. And I said, all I said was, "Hey, great show. I really appreciate great show. Been a fan since White Stripes. A huge fan." He goes, "Oh, no problem." And he looked at my son. He said, "Oh, did you enjoy yourself?" And he said, "Yeah." He goes, "Are you tired?" He said, "Yeah." And he and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I want to go to bed." And Brady pops his fucking head up. He goes, "Well, if you want, I'm going home to sleep in my bed with my mommy. If you want to come home with me and my mommy." I fucking jetted. I was like, "Nice to meet you. Gotta go. See you later." And that was yes. Man. So my son was trying to pimp out the bed space with my wife.
Well done. Well done.
Now, talking about different music, right? First of all, Present Tense, Arc. I think that was a great pick. Arc picked by Brad. Present Tense picked by Tony Bounds. So thank you for doing that. We'll pick a song for next month here in a little bit. But one of the cool features we do on the show, which it's been actually gotten a lot of, seemed pretty popular, is like, what are we listening to now? I did not pull anything for you. But I'm trying to pull. Here we go. I'm gonna pull this up. We're gonna pull a song for you in a minute. I'm pulling it up on YouTube. Hopefully this will work. But you've been listening to who recently?
Same thing for you, buddy.
Oh, I don't know.
I'll send you the link.
Why is Jake Berry? Hey, excuse me, real quick. As someone trying to FaceTime me. Decline. Sorry about that. Can you hear me still?
I can, you bet.
Okay, sorry about that. So you are listening to who right now?
I'm going to bring up the band The Stills.
I have something right here for you if you want.
Well, I just sent you a link.
Oh, well. Wait, is this the song I actually pulled up? No, I did Logic, Will Break Your Heart.
Yep.
Hold on.
Yeah, but I see the song, though.
Oh, Still in Love, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on a second. Hold on one second. There is huge ramifications with this FaceTime call. I can't believe this.
You got to take it.
This is like someone extremely famous trying to FaceTime me right now. Can we put on my song and take this? All right. So my song is I can't. This is crazy. Hold on. I cannot believe this person tried to FaceTime me. The song I'm playing right now is Kasabian's what's it called? Vlad the Impaler, who I'm listening to. We'll talk about it in a minute. Enjoy this song. I gotta take this fucking FaceTime call. Hold on.
Go take it.
What are you
The
doing?
time for warning.
Get the fuck out of here. Wait.
You
Brady's
know,
Brady's
you
gonna lose his
must
mind. Hold on a
like
second.
a nail bomb inside a small jar. You will feel the power of Vlad the Impaler.
Let's see this place jump, come on! Face it, I want this beach. I'm afraid in the heat, in the cold, dread stormy. Shut down my diamond teeth. I ain't got the simple things in life that been lost. You have got to witness. This is your last. Repeat. My last retreat. And all my friends are the sharpest razors. Cut you down if you touch their fingers. High class girls from the elevator. We have got to go. Everybody choose. Get loose, get loose. 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 You can't miss me. I'm still alive. Stacy shooter, bleeding homicide. Come on and feel this. I'm still alive. Bobby Womack. See you on the other side. Okay, that's a good one. Betsy, how do you call? We need to raise the debt. We need to raise the. I know this blood runs thick. It is true. The simple things in life have been lost. You have got to witness. We are the last. Beatniks. The last. Heretics. And all my friends are the sharpest razor. Cut you down if you touch their finger. Listen up, all you masqueraders. We have got to go. We have got to go. Right, that's the move. Tell them, Sergio. You've had a long weekend. I'm gonna count you down from 4. I wanna see every motherfucker in this field jump as high as they've ever jumped in their entire lives. To the hot dog stands, to the tents, to all across the world. Are you ready? I said 1, 2, 1.
Well, first of all, let me get to the Kasabian thing. And to kill the text message I'm getting, no one from Pearl Jam tried FaceTiming me. It had nothing to do with Pearl Jam. I'll put it that way. I've never had my fucking phone blow up so much. It was for my son. My son just had someone FaceTime him that is massive in the soccer world, and I was very surprised that they were trying to FaceTime him at 10:30 at night. So
And you let him know, you're like, we're busy.
yeah, no, I ran that shit up to him, and I think my son's in tears in his room now. If they're not off the call right now, it is a big deal. Anyway, Kasabian is a band out of England. They are very electronic, kind of have a really cool sound. I dig them. I work out to them. I've been riding my bike here recently. It doesn't look like it because I can't stop eating. But great music to work out to. It's a really cool vibe. I really dig their sound and stuff. So big fan of theirs.
Yeah,
How the
I definitely don't know their. I don't know their catalog. So
No, they were interesting with the fact that they had like a huge hit like called LSF back in the day, like early 2000s. But they're huge over at England. Like they're never big here. Like when I did see them in DC, like they only played like 9 shows in America, and it was like New York, DC, Tennessee, Florida, like all like the major cities type deal.
yeah, cool.
So interesting enough. What a twist. I was planning on playing your song first, but at first when I saw like a random number come through, I'm like, fuck you. And then I got a text message like, oh, hey, this is blah, blah, blah from the US. Well, from blah, blah, blah. Like, I need to talk to Brady. I'm like, all right, well, I can't pass that up.
There we go.
So
Can't pass it up.
I apologize about cutting into
All right.
that. So now listen, I have your song that you requested. Now I won't be able to hear it, I think.
Yeah. So this is a band called The Stills, and their first album came out in early 2000, like 03 or 04, and it was called Logic Will Break Your Heart. And top to bottom, this is such a great album. Solid. I've seen these guys live. They had a great live performance. And I ended up getting an autographed LP from them, which I really appreciated. But they've got 3 or 4 albums afterwards. They're all good. But this album, we're sort of deep diving back into older stuff we were listening to. And so this album was one that I listened to a lot. Probably the most played album of 03, 04 for me.
Okay.
Other than Riot Act, I guess.
Now, 03, 04, you would have been like right out of college, is that right?
Yeah, 14 years is right out of college, yes.
Was it really that long?
I told you, I'm old. I'm 52. 51.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll be 52 this year.
Well, you know what? I hope one day I can be as cool as you. All right, let's see. Can you hear this? Ready?
That's a no.
Hold on. I think it's coming. Yeah, hold on. All these YouTube ads.
Kinda. But that's it. Song though.
This is the link you sent me. This is not the song. So this is not the song. Hold on. What the hell? This is the link. So it's the Stills. What's the name of the song?
That's terrible. It's called Logical Break. It's called Still in Love. There we go. That's it.
I can't hear it from you. Hold on. Wait, did Holly say she's class of 2004? Like she graduated high school in 2004?
good, Andy.
That's good. Okay. Wait. Time out. So there's a lot.
I want you to think about like Joy Division into New Order, right? So there's like, but that band is also, I believe, from England, and but that's a great album, top to bottom. Go give it a listen.
I'm going to. And it's weird because I've never heard of the Stills before, so this is definitely going to be. I'll jump into. I enjoyed that.
For the 56 seconds.
It was 1minute and 37. I don't know what you're talking about. Also, there's a lot of. I'm going to tell you something. The chat room is a buzzing right now. As soon as
listen, Anthony, when you and I do this, you need to show me what's happening over there.
I don't know why you can't see it, because Holly said.
I know why, because I don't have 5 computer screens like you.
I don't have 5 computer screens. Everything's off of here.
You got your iPad, you got your phone, you got a computer, you got whatever you're looking at me on, where this camera's coming from. You know what I mean? You probably have like a movie projector on another wall. I don't know what's going on.
Okay,
so could be live streaming in your front yard right now. Your neighbors are out front right now watching this like having a picnic. I don't know. I'm just saying that.
So what I'm gonna have to do is, how about this, Trey? Listen, I'm taking a break from work in October. I will come out to you, and we will set up your studio accordingly. Because we need to figure some stuff out anyway for April of next year. But I really wanted to come out when you had Stereo Embers playing at your winery or in Seattle.
Right.
So we'll figure something out. We'll talk about it later. So here's what happened.
That date's not set yet, because they were supposed to open July 31st for this band called Fires, which is, when this album comes out, it's going to be, I think, in the fall. People are going to freak out. This is going to be a huge, huge album. Ty Willman from Green Apple Quickstep.
Yep.
Green Apple Quickstep and Little Ships. Regan Hager from Brad and Satchel.
Wow.
And Dave Place on bass. And I'm blanking on the guitar player's name right now, but I've kind of heard the rough demos that are getting, mixed and getting ready to go to. Anyway, it's going to be awesome.
I'm looking forward to it.
I was going to have Stereo Embers open for these guys, but they are not available on the date. It's a Saturday, the 31st of July.
Okay.
So I'll get them rebooked. It's okay.
We'll figure it out. So I want to fill you in on what's going on in the chat room, which has been hilarious to me. This might be the greatest input to life. Holly said, I was class of 2004. So I had asked high school, and she said, yes, sir. So then I said, in life, Trey is one lucky son of a bitch.
That is all true. 100%.
No, it's both ways. You're an amazing person. I honestly mean that. In general, but yeah, listen. You and your wife are great, because I love the fact that you guys, how comfortable you are with each other, and the shit you post online, you go back and forth with each other, even on this. It's great. So I'm looking forward to meeting you guys in person, because I think it's good stuff there.
Us too. I'll see you at one of the 10 Pearl Jam shows this year.
Holly said, I'm the lucky one. Isn't that sweet? Because my wife would have said, you are right. You are lucky. Matt asked a question.
So,
Fires on Loose Grove Records. Is that the band?
Matt, Loose Groove. So Loose Groove Records is Stone Gossard's record label. And Fires is currently in mastering stages. I do not know who's going to actually release that album. But the fact that Regan and Stone are great friends, it would not surprise me that it would come out on Loose Groove. But I will tell you right now, and I guess this is like an announcement.
Oh.
But we are pressing the original Fires album. Once it gets mastered and goes to vinyl press, we're gonna press however big my vinyl club is for our wine club. We're gonna do a special pressing just for us. We'll do like a special color, marbled vinyl or whatever, of the first Fires album. And so I think it'll be the second or the third release for our vinyl club. It just depends on, I don't know if you know this, Anthony, but right now the world of vinyl is upside down.
Is it really?
You cannot get, it's like the supply chain with everything else right now. It's so backed up that, you're like, oh, I just finished this album. Let's get it out in 3 months. No, you're like 9 months to a year out before you can get that on a vinyl, because there's only so many pressing plants around the world, and everyone wants to put stuff out on vinyl. And so I'm dealing with that on my own with all the stuff that we're trying to get done for our vinyl club. But thankfully, because, if Fires comes out on Loose Groove, then that means that Loose Groove will have a direct access to where Pearl Jam presses their vinyl, because they actually own their own vinyl plant. That way they can produce their own vinyl and stuff. And so hopefully that will come out sooner than later. Yeah. But
hey, two quick things before Tony bounces. So Tony says, thanks for playing my song tonight. Pick an Italian wine next month. Trey, see you in August.
Yeah.
And
a big group of guys coming out in August to Walla Walla.
Oh, nice. And then Trey, if you want to, actually in the city I live in, there is a vinyl manufacturing company that was unearthed that is for sale right now. Maybe we should buy that together and start our own pressing company.
What can you do with $847 loose change?
$800.
Can we buy that? I mean,
so with your 847 and my $4.50, I think the world's.
I think let's put an offer.
I'm down. I'm down.
What are they gonna say? And the worst they can say is no. The best they can say is yes, and all of a sudden we're in a whole new business.
Yeah, and then I have to figure shit out because I'm leaving in 2 years. Who knows? No, what's interesting about vinyl is, so I was heavily into vinyl for years, and then I got out of it because, dude, I collect too much shit as it is with posters, vinyl, T-shirts. I mean, instruments. I just bought another instrument that I'm hiding from my wife, and I know she's gonna find it, and I'm gonna get in trouble. But
she's gonna find it now. Way to go, buddy.
Nah, she don't watch this. You want to hear something really fucked up, Trey? Is honest to God truth. Holly watches all these shows. My wife and I've been doing this since my first show I ever did, which was Tap Time Live with Anthony back in September of 2018. So now it was called Tap Time Live with Anthony. I used to drink a beer and just talk. That's it. Just talk about random shit. And then I used to have the Strangest Tribe Minute, which was when I would talk about Pearl Jam. That was a long time ago. I thought it was less. I've done like 310 shows. Like, it's a ridiculous number of shows since then. And she's not seen a fucking single episode of anything I've ever done. Never watched nothing.
She knows every story about you, Anthony.
Yeah, she don't give a shit.
She's already heard them. Why would she want to hear them again?
That's right. Yeah, I tell her all the time. She don't care. She's got to worry about other stuff.
The problem is you're not selling this show, our show, very well to her. This show is about wine and Pearl Jam.
You know what we should do, Trey, next month?
We could introduce her to some wine she may like.
Why don't we do like either next month or the 1 year anniversary of our show, which will be in 2 months? We should have Holly and Heather on the show.
There we go. All right. It'll be a couples show.
A couples show. A good wine that couples should drink together. The only downside to that is you might have to send me 2 bottles of wine because, as you can see, my decanter is empty and my glass is half empty.
Half full.
Yeah, well, you take it for what it is.
Look, man, you got to use the Pearl Jam references when you can. You
I
gotta
get you.
decide.
I get you. It's I'm doing the best I can. Well, here's the thing. So Trey, is there anything going on in the world of Trey Busch that we should know about before
We
we?
have, if you live in Seattle, tomorrow night's going to be a special night. The reason we're not doing our show tonight, Anthony and I aren't doing a show tonight or tomorrow night, is because tomorrow night I've got Doug Marsh from Built to Spill. And if you were fortunate enough to listen to last month's episode, you got to listen to 6.5 minutes of a 14-minute guitar solo. But Anthony cut it short. But, that's not my fault. It's Anthony's fault. But the point is that Doug Marsh is playing my tasting room tomorrow night in Seattle. But it's sold out. It's going to be an amazing show. And I'm super excited about that. Doug is also playing Walla Walla on July 8th at my winery property. We've got a huge outdoor lawn area. And we still have tickets available for that. So if you want to travel, you want to see a great show and drink some great wine, come on out. We still have tickets available for that. And then what else is going on? We've got Danny Newcomb's coming July 16th. The Copper Trees are coming that night as well.
Wow.
They've got Eric and Kate. I think their first public performance outside of their own, they've done some video stuff, but I don't think they actually played live.
Wow.
They're going to open for Danny and his band. That's on July 16th, Friday night. And then July 17th, I've got a burlesque show with Bend, Oregon, Bend Burlesque Co., along with special guest Holly Dolly Burlesque and Isabella Bloom. And I think it's Lindsay Louise. Lindsay Louise. I got to figure out what her stage name is. But that's going to be a fun time. And then Fires, I just mentioned, I'm going to put that album out. Fires is playing July 31st.
Nice.
At the Tasting Room in Soto.
That's awesome.
And we've got a bunch of stuff in August and some cool stuff going on in September. I'm trying to book a couple of big names in September in Walla Walla. And I think I'm going to make it happen. So.
Well, dude, that's pretty awesome. Also, for the people going to the burlesque thing, with Holly will be Anthony the Magnificent performing his.
Anthony the Magnificent, who
will be
will, by the
performing
way,
his.
he is excited to show you a little preview of his show.
That is
tonight.
Is an inaccurate statement.
Anthony, we talked about this before we went on. You mentioned that you were going to preview your burlesque show. Let's give the audience what they want.
Unfortunately, I don't listen. I would have to be 2 bottles in, and I would need my my tassels to really perform correct. I don't have them.
Can you spin them the opposite way? Because that's the key.
No, I can't. I can only go one way. I can only go counterclockwise. Holly says, "I'll work you into the show." Oh Jesus. Oh jeez, Louise.
Oh.
Well, listen,
Anthony, I love hanging out with you on once a month.
we're in June. So hey, what? Let's look at next month because things are going to get crazy for me. Next month is July.
Yeah.
July 27th. It's a Tuesday. Last Tuesday of the month. I am available.
It is wide open. That's the date.
Okay. What song are we going to do on July 27th?
I think, Anthony, it's your turn to pick a song.
Is it my turn?
Because honestly, you've left it up to me or the crowd, and you really haven't picked your own. You may have picked the very first one, episode 1, but
I'm going to do something unique. How about this?
How about newer? What is about everything we've done is pre-03 and previous. Let's go something newer.
How about something we've never done before? How about we go uncharted territories? How about 3 covered songs?
3 cover songs
that they've done.
Okay.
And you won't know what they are until the show. So I will pick three covered songs.
What about we'll take suggestions from our listeners.
Yeah, definitely.
They can message you. They can message me. But in the end, we have veto power, and we're going to pick the 3 songs. But
I will tell you this right now, though.
idea. It's a great one. I love
I
it.
am looking, if you know how to find the Ziggy Stardust song that they performed in 2000 in New Mexico, please send it my way because that needs to be on the list of 3. But anyway,
how is it not possible that is on YouTube or somewhere? I mean,
because it was in 2000.
Mexico City has 110,000 people in that stadium. You know that somebody was recording that and wanted to upload that.
You know, it's interesting. So they've performed 6 David Bowie songs: Ashes to Ashes, Fame, Golden Years, Heroes, Rebel, and Ziggy Stardust. What was that, buddy?
Yeah, the Fame. I remember the Fame one.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So next month I will have a David Bowie cover on the fucking show because David Bowie is one of my top 5 favorite artists of all time. But anyway, listen, this was fun. I love this. I love chatting with you. I still am very grateful that you do this with me monthly. I'm looking forward to chatting with you next month.
We broke an all-time record at 7:45 my time. So that's an hour and 45 minutes we're going.
No, last episode was an hour 57.
Well, we got 12 minutes.
No, we're gonna end this shit beforehand. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you who just FaceTimed me, and you're gonna not believe it, because you know who it was. So, anyway, I appreciate everyone's time coming in. Let's hit the music. It was a great show, as always with Trey Busch, with his wife checking in. My wife is working and could care less about this show, doing what she does best, being a nurse for mental health. So praise her. Trey, thank you so much for coming on. Check out Trey's Sleight of Hand website. You can order his wine there. Listen, his wine's great. It's amazing. Check out our website. You can go to thetouringfanlive.com for more upcoming shows, for everything Touring Fan Live. We have a big event coming up in September with more things coming on. Stay tuned to our social media events. Trey, anything last words?
Nothing. We got to talk about the wine, and I will talk about it to you afterwards for next time, all right?
All right, brother.
Later, buddy.
All right, here's the legal stuff.